Urgent Cleveland Browns fans. Do not miss this. What just happened? You won't believe this one. But before we reveal the big news, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because here, we bring you daily videos with the latest Cleveland Browns updates. And to not miss anything, activate the notifications. Hey, Browns fans, buckle up because today we've got a story that's been making waves across the NFL world, and it directly involves our beloved Cleveland Browns and a lot of the buzz surrounding the recent NFL draft. It's a story that blends controversy, family pride, and some pretty interesting insights from the football community. So, grab your favorite beverage, settle in, and let's break down everything you need to know about what happened, why it matters so much, and what it could mean for the Browns moving forward. The spotlight, in this case, is on none other than Deion Sanders, the legendary NFL Hall of Famer, and now the head coach of Colorado, who has been making headlines in his own right, not just for his coaching prowess but also for how he's been standing up for his son, Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur, as you probably know, is a quarterback with incredible talent, and he was one of the most talked about prospects in the 2025 NFL Draft. But, of course, with talent comes scrutiny, and sometimes, criticism from the media and analysts. And that's exactly where things got interesting. Recently, ESPN's NFL draft analyst Mel Kiper Jr. found himself at the center of a bit of a storm, defending his own rankings and comments about Shedeur Sanders amid some controversy. Now, Kiper is a respected voice in the draft community, but he also tends to be outspoken and honest, sometimes to a fault, as some fans have pointed out. During the draft coverage, Kiper was questioned about why certain teams, like the New York Giants, passed on Sanders despite his impressive talent. Kiper stood his ground, explaining that Shedeur was ranked high on his board, even higher than some other quarterbacks taken earlier in the draft. But what really caught fire was when Kiper mentioned that he hadn't spoken to Deion Sanders about Shedeur, which is a pretty standard thing. Analysts don't always get direct conversations with family members of prospects. Still, Deion, who's been vocal about his pride and confidence in his son, didn't let that slide. Instead, he jumped in on social media, specifically on X, formerly Twitter, to defend Kiper, praising his honesty and integrity. Deion's words were clear: "You stood on the desk with great balance 10 toes down and said what you doggone said and didn't flinch." That's a big deal because it shows how much respect and loyalty Deion has for someone who, despite the criticism, stuck to his guns. Now, let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Deion Sanders has been a transformative figure in college football, especially since taking over at Colorado. He's turned that program around in a way few expected, bringing energy, attention, and a new level of competitiveness. His approach isn't just about coaching, it's about building a culture, instilling confidence in his players, and standing firm in his beliefs. And that's exactly what we saw when he defended Kiper. It's also a reflection of how deeply Deion believes in his son's talent and potential, even if the critics don't always see it that way. Now, talking about Shedeur himself, he's a quarterback who's got a mix of talent, leadership, and poise. He's never been shy about his ambitions, and his season at Colorado has been nothing short of spectacular. The kid has thrown for thousands of yards, showcased incredible arm strength, and demonstrated a maturity beyond his years. But the NFL scouts, analysts, and teams have been divided on whether he's ready for the next level. Some see him as a future star, while others have questioned his consistency, decision-making, or just whether his college success will translate to the NFL. And that brings us to this year's draft, which was full of surprises. Shedeur was projected to go somewhere in the middle rounds, possibly as an early pick if everything fell into place. But ultimately, he was selected in the 5th round by the Cleveland Browns. Now, that might seem like a late pick, many fans and analysts expected him to go higher, but, as we all know, the draft is a complex puzzle that involves team needs, evaluations, and sometimes just luck. The Browns' decision to pick Shedeur was a gamble, but one that has the potential to pay off big time. The Browns have a pretty interesting quarterback room right now. They've got Dillon Gabriel, their 3rd-round pick from this year, who has shown flashes of brilliance and has been touted as a future starter. Then there's Kenny Pickett, the former first-round pick from Pitt, who's been solid and is looking to take that next step in his career. And, of course, Joe Flacco, the veteran with decades of experience, ready to lend his leadership and mentorship. So, Shedeur's entry into this mix is intriguing because it adds a new dynamic. He's young, hungry, and eager to prove himself. What does this mean for the Browns? Well, first, it means we've got a talented young quarterback with a high ceiling, sitting behind some experienced guys. The coaching staff will have the opportunity to develop him, and fans will be watching every step of the way. And let's be honest, Browns fans are always hungry for that franchise quarterback, that guy who can lead us back to the playoffs and maybe even to a Super Bowl. This draft pick might be that step in that direction, or it might be a long-term project. Either way, the excitement is palpable, and the conversations are non-stop. Now, it's also worth mentioning that Shedeur's journey is far from over. The NFL is a different ballgame, literally and figuratively. The speed, complexity, and physicality of the league are on a whole other level compared to college. But if there's one thing we know about Shedeur, it's that he's got the talent, the mental toughness, and the drive to succeed. And with Deion Sanders in his corner, constantly pushing him and advocating for him, you can't help but feel optimistic about what his future holds. Deion's defensive Kuiper wasn't just about protecting his son's reputation, it was also a message about integrity, honesty, and standing firm in your beliefs, even when they're unpopular. It's a testament to the kind of father and coach he is, someone who's not afraid to speak up for his family and his players. And it's also a reminder that in the world of football, there are always debates, disagreements, and differing opinions. That's what makes the sport so fascinating. Everyone has their own perspective, their own rankings, and their own stories. Speaking of stories, the NFL draft is always full of them. It's where dreams are made and sometimes dashed. It's where underdogs get their shot and where the biggest stars are born. Shedeur Sanders' story is no different. Coming from a family with a football legacy, his father Dillon, after all, is a Hall of Famer. He's carrying a lot of expectations. But he's also carrying a lot of hope, especially from Browns fans eager for a new quarterback to rally behind. As we look ahead, the Browns season looks promising but also challenging. They've got a roster filled with talent, a coaching staff eager to turn potential into results, and a fan base that's hungry for success. The addition of Shedeur adds a new layer of excitement. Will he be the next great Browns quarterback? That remains to be seen, but the journey will be thrilling to watch. And if his college highlights are any indication, Browns fans should be optimistic. Shedeur has a rocket arm, great mobility, and a calmness under pressure that many quarterbacks would envy. In the end, this whole situation reminds us of the importance of loyalty, honesty, and standing up for what you believe in. Deion Sanders' unwavering support for his son and Kuiper's candidness about his rankings show that in football, as in life, integrity matters. And it also shows that amidst all the noise, the Browns are building something special, an organization that's not afraid to take risks, to stand by their players, and to dream big. So, as we wrap up today's story, remember that this is just the beginning. The Browns season is on the horizon, and the story of Shedeur Sanders in Cleveland is still being written. Will he become a franchise legend? Will he develop into a star? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, Browns fans, you've got a front row seat to one of the most exciting chapters in recent team history. Keep your eyes on the prize, stay fired up, and let's see where this journey takes us. And now, Cleveland Browns fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this whole story? Do you believe Shedeur can be the next great Browns quarterback? Are you confident in the team's direction with this new addition? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Browns. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, analysis, and all the latest news from the NFL and your favorite team. Stay tuned, stay passionate, and let's keep supporting the Cleveland Browns through thick and thin. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Browns!